Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started in just about a minute or two, letting everyone get logged in. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and start typing those into the chat.
All right, good afternoon, guys, and welcome to Meditation and Mindfulness, a Future Alumni Week event. My name is Kira Fowler, and I'm a member of the Student Alumni Association's Garnet Circle. Garnet Circle works to foster relationships between students and alumni to prepare students for life after graduation. Future Alumni Week serves this purpose by providing May graduates with all the tools for success throughout a full week of events. Today, we're focusing on healthy living, and we'll cover many more topics throughout the week. You can check out those events and register to reserve your spot at ufscalumni.org/events. We'll be awarding prizes to those who attend the most events throughout the week. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Laquana Sheppard, the Mindfulness and Resilience Program Coordinator with the university's mental health initiatives, to begin our session.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laquana Sheppard. I'm a last licensed master social worker and currently your Mindfulness and Resilience Program Coordinator at the University of South Carolina. Thank you all for having me today. You can find me here in the Center of Health and Wellbeing. I'm in the 116 suite here on the first floor through Healthy Campus Initiatives. And today we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness. So get ready to take a deep breath and to learn a little bit about ways to take care of yourself. So I'd like to start with asking, what is one way you have been relaxing lately? And you can drop in the chat or you can unmute yourself and feel free to share out with the group one way you have been relaxing lately. I will start. I've been reading lots of good books. My current book that I'm reading is Atomic Habits, which by James Clear, which has been really awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and tune into the chat here. We have stretching, such good walking weather we've had. Napping is so necessary. Going to the gym on a walk, reading a book, there you go. Long baths, yoga practice in the mornings, very good. Did I miss anyone? Taking a walk and enjoying time outdoors. All very good choices, all very good ways to relax. We've had really, really great walking weather. Goat yoga. It's the first time I've ever heard that. That's awesome. Goat yoga. Very good. That's all very great ways to take care of yourself. I see a balance of multiple different ways that you're all kind of tuning into your bodies, right? And also tuning into your intellectual needs by reading books and taking time outdoors and stretching, tuning into your body. So these are all really great ways to listen to your body, your mind, and your spirit, and to take good self-care. Very good. Thank you for sharing. So next, we'll just quickly cover our agenda for today. We'll be doing a lot of practice. So this is an interactive presentation. It won't just be me talking at you, which is good. And we have a little bit of background on what exactly mindfulness is. I'm also offering a meditation and ways to practice meditation, ways to practice mindfulness in your daily routine as a way for stress relief, as a way to carry those very difficult, discomforting emotions, and as a way to be able to be focused, your attention on the things that you need to focus on in order to maximize your wellness. So we'll talk about ways that you can practice mindfulness daily. And then we'll also talk about resources that are available on campus. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness has become a little bit of a buzzword. So just introducing the definition of mindfulness, which came from Jon Kabat-Zinn, a Western researcher and author and developer of mindfulness. Jon Kabat-Zinn is well known for his work in mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is also known as MBSR. And so when Jon Kabat-Zinn coined this definition of mindfulness, he said mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. So I have a couple questions for the group. As we look at this definition, what would it mean to pay attention on purpose, in the present moment, and without judgment? What would that look like? What does that mean to everybody? And there's no right or wrong answer here. We're just practicing and getting to know what mindfulness is. But I am curious, what would you all say that is? What does it look like? What could it mean to pay attention on purpose, in the present moment, and without judgment? Feel free to use the chat or unmute yourself, whatever feels good for you. And I see something in the chat. Let's see. Tracking the talkers, no distractions. Electronics down to minimize distractions. Very good. Be engaged with the intent of listening. I love that. Just listening to people, right? Being an active listener, no electronics. I see a lot of no electronics. I feel like we're all kind of married to this device, right? I see people walking around campus and they're like this as they walk around campus. And so oftentimes it's hard to even be mindful while walking nowadays because we're so used to electronics. It's hard to separate from those things. But if we were to just be in the moment, right, being able to engage with people, maybe we'd be thinking less about what's happening around us and be able to be more focused on what's happening in front of us. And that's essentially what mindfulness is. And we'll talk about the benefits of that shortly. Thank you all for engaging those questions. So for many of us, like I just referenced, this non-judgment element is the most challenging part, right? Mindfulness asks us to tune into how we feel without adding our own commentary to what we find. So for example, if you notice you are frustrated after your roommate does something disrespectful, or if you notice that you're taking in a lot of information just overall on social media, and it's hard to separate what's happening in the world and what's happening with you, personal, right? It can be hard to believe that you can separate the two, right? An issue that you're having, a conflict that you're having externally, and what's happening inside you, right? And so these judgments we heap become our own thoughts, right? And the more we think about these thoughts, the more they become affecting our mood, and the more they affect the way we feel, and the more we become restless, inattentive, discontent, maybe even depressed or anxious, right? Because we're unable to separate the feeling of frustration, the feeling of being overwhelmed by information, the feeling of stress or anxiety from who we are without judging the feeling, right? We become overly critical as opposed to coming to get to know the feeling and separating the feeling from who we are. And mindfulness is essentially being able to cope with discomfort by leaning into tools that are helping us optimize our wellness. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Any questions on that? Feel free to use the Q&A as you need to. Awesome. So we will start with our first practice of today. Again, this is just practice. We're not aiming for perfection here. So I will talk you through this. So a dynamic breathing practice is essentially fire breathing, right? So we're isolating our breath right here through our nose, right? And this is a revitalizing breath. This is a breath that's really good for when you first start your day, or you're trying to get energized or pepped up from maybe a meeting or a phone call or something that's going to require you to be balanced and ready and focused, right? So it's a re-energizing and revitalizing breath, right? So feel free to get into a comfortable position. If you're sitting at wherever you are, if you're seated, that's fine. Even if you're lying down, wherever works, have your feet to the floor. Relax your shoulders here. And you can just kind of let your arms hang out at your sides or have your arms and hands on your lap. And again, we're isolating our breath in our nose. So a dynamic breath is literally a fire breath. So we're going to breathe in through our nose. I will demonstrate this now. Breathe in through our nose, breathe back out through our nose. Do this a couple times to yourself. And we're going to begin to pick up the pace of this breath. So again, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Do this now. And it's really important to isolate your breath here in your nose and to not breathe out within your mouth, because you can hyperventilate if you're not tracking just through your nose and you're tracking in both ways. So it's really important that you are intentional about breathing through your nose. So again, breathing in through your nose and back out through your nose. Do this 2 more times. Awesome. All right. So now we're not going to stop there. We're going to add a little bit of movement here. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, back out through our nose, but we're also going to pull in our arms here, right? And essentially our breath is acting like a bellow. We're breathing from our diaphragm, which is that space between our ribs, the lower part of our ribs and our belly button. So that diaphragm is acting like a bellow here. As we breathe in through our nose, it comes up, and as we breathe back out through our nose, it comes back down to a neutral state. The second part of our dynamic breathing is we're going to engage our arms here, and our arms are going to be like wings, right? So as we inhale, we breathe in and we bring our arms up. So inhale through your nose, and as we exhale, we bring that breath back out through our nose and our arms back down. Okay, let's practice this a couple times to yourself. Remember, it's okay to look silly. This is your first time doing it, and we're not striving for perfection. This is just a practice. So feel free to go ahead and get started. In through your nose, back out through your nose. In through your nose, back out through your nose. In through your nose, back out through your nose. Awesome. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit here. And for 10 breaths, we're going to just engage our fire breaths and move our arms like wings. Remember, go at a pace that works for you. I've been doing this for a while, so I will pick up my pace a bit, because that's how we generate the energy and the revitalizing that we need that's the goal of the breath, right? So I want you to practice this for the next couple moments. Take 10 of these breaths at your own rhythm. I will count you in. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale. Go ahead. Awesome. Very good. So feel free to continue that breath for a couple moments on your own. Awesome job. So that is the dynamic breath. Again, this is a Koru. This is coined from Koru mindfulness out of North Carolina, and they helped create this dynamic breathing practice that is really aimed to revitalize the body and to generate energy. If we have like a big presentation to do, or you're just trying to get up and energize for the day, it's a great breath to do just that. Thank you for engaging with that with me. All right, so let's get into the benefits of mindfulness. How does mindfulness impact our well-being? So a regular practice of mindfulness decreases stress. It also improves sleep, and it increases self-compassion. So anything done habitually has more impact, right? So if we have a regular mindfulness practice, we're more likely to experience more regular ease and balance, decrease stress, because we're moving more in flow and more ease, as opposed to just being more reactive. And if you have a regular and inconsistent practice, you might maybe even meditate or take deep breaths before sleep, improving your sleep quality. Also, if you have a regular mindfulness practice, you might be more conscious of your thoughts, right? You might practice like labeling your thoughts or labeling your feelings, which increases self-compassion, right? Because if we're more in tune to how we're thinking, and if our thoughts are more positive, we tend to feel better about ourselves, which increases self-compassion, right? So more intentional practice, better results. So let me ask the group a quick question about how often do you think you practice, if you do practice meditation or deep breathing or any mindfulness practice like yoga, about how often do you think you practice at this time? If you were to put a number to maybe how many times you may do yoga or get movement in per week, or meditate, or even just really focus on taking some deep breaths. Are any of these practices consistent for you at this time? A couple times a month, less than a week. Okay, thank you for your honesty. couple times a month, 4 to 5 times a week at bar. Awesome. I practice when I need it most, which most people tend to do, 5 to 6 days a week, about 20 to 30 minutes each time. Awesome. Awesome. Elizabeth says that they try to do something at least once per day, a couple times a month, per week, either 1 or 0. So thank you, Brennan. Yeah, research recommends practicing about 10 minutes a day. And if that's not possible for you, don't worry. Spending a lot of time on mindfulness is beneficial, but I would rather folks do what they can commit to. So even if it's just a 10-minute practice per day, like getting out for a 10-minute walk, right? Or maybe just taking a 10-minute pause during your school day or your work time, and to just take some deep breaths, right? Maybe even putting on a timer before you go to bed and just taking some deep belly breaths before you go to sleep, improving your sleep quality. Whatever works for you, or even if it's just 10 minutes of journaling, writing down your thoughts before you go to bed. One of my favorite practices is a brain dump before I go to sleep. So that's also a mindful practice. Whatever that is for you, research recommends for it to have positive results and an impact on your well-being, that you do have a practice that you engage with at least 10 minutes a day. So I see some of us are already off to a great start. I do have a question. Can I expand on the brain dump? So I'll go ahead and answer that question. So brain dumps it's a journal practice where sometimes you can even type it if you want to, pull out a laptop. For me, I tend to write. So I have a journal that before I go to sleep, I may write down all the things that might be kind of pressing for me, things that maybe didn't get done on my to-do list, things that I may want to try again tomorrow with. Maybe if I had an interesting exchange with somebody during the day and it was bothering me before I went to sleep, I might journal about that. Maybe if I'm experiencing some feelings, like some more challenging emotions like sadness, loneliness, or any of those feelings, right? Well, we all experience that at some point in some way, then I might use my brain dump, or I might go ahead and just kind of do a brain dump, literally. Essentially, it's just getting everything that you're holding in your mind out on paper, right? Because sometimes the things that keep us up at night, or the things that we're overthinking from our day, either our day or our day before, or just our week, or just things that we are holding on to, right? But when we actually practice this brain dump or this mindful journaling experience, we're able to just write down whatever, just let it all come out on paper, right? So we don't have to hold on to it, and we don't have to overthink it. And we may not necessarily have the answers that we need in that moment, but it is helpful to get it out of your brain so that you're able to rest without holding on to it. And so that can be done in any way. Sometimes I do it before sleep, but some people find it helpful to do it when you first wake up in the morning or even midday. There's no right or wrong way to do a brain dump. I hope I answered that question, Catherine. Thank you. All right. I'll keep moving on here. All right, so we're doing another practice. This is the rushing river meditation. So the good news again about mindfulness is that it's a skill that we are going to develop, right? So we do this through practice. And so that's why I was really intentional about bringing a couple different practices for you all to try out, so that you can walk away with some tools and figure out what is the best tool for you to do in your daily practice, in your everyday life. All right, so the point of this meditation is not to stop your thoughts, but just to notice your thoughts, right? And because our brains are going to always think, they're thinking brains, they're thinking tools. And so we don't want to fail to think, but we just want to notice when our brains are thinking, right? And so we call this meditation the rushing river. So if you want to go ahead and get into a comfortable position, this practice is probably about 6 minutes. And at the sound of my bell, I will walk you through this guided meditation. So wherever you are, if you want to just kind of drop down into this moment, whatever that may look like for you, maybe that's your eyes closed, or you can just find a focal point in the room. And at the sound of my bell, we'll get started. So close your eyes if you haven't closed your eyes already. And you might begin to imagine your thought sphere as a rushing river. Many of us have simply lived in the river of our thoughts for our whole lives. Sometimes it's a peaceful water, and sometimes it's crashing waves getting tossed back and forth from one thought to another. When you meditate, you are trying to stop this river. Giving yourself emotional rest is a practice. Meditation is a safe space to land those thoughts. Begin to breathe here, breathing in through your nose and back out through your mouth. Giving yourself the space to take some deep intentional breaths. Allowing yourself to release. Relax your shoulders here and unclench your jaw. And allow yourself to release any striving that you're attempting to do in this moment. And just notice there's a thought that's coming in for you here. Just notice it. And remember, our thoughts are the river. We're not necessarily trying to stop the river. Rather, we're just climbing onto the riverbank to watch this river flow in front of us. So we are the observer of the thoughts. Continue this practice for the next couple moments, just noticing and labeling any thoughts that might be coming up for you here. And notice here this practice of catching yourself when you fall back into the rushing river of thought. When you begin to think again, you will take a break and climb back out, reminding yourself that you are the observer of the river with curiosity and patience. No judgment, not to be overcritical, but just noticing the difference from being in the river, caught up in the current, and climbing back out on the riverbank, being an observer. Take the next couple moments to practice this. Just observing thought, labeling the thought, but not getting caught up in it. Continue to connect with breath here. And at the sound of my bell, we will return to the room. Very good. And we will slowly begin to open our eyes if we did have our eyes closed, and to come back to the space. And just a quick check-in with everybody. Just wanted to find out, how was that meditation for you all? Were you able to stop your thoughts? Were you able to, or not necessarily stop your thought because that wasn't the goal, but were you able to notice more so when you were falling into the thought as opposed to separating from the thought? Did anything come up for you in particular here? Feel free to use the chat to talk a little bit about that if you would like, or unmute yourself. It's fine too. Just to check in, how was that for you? So thank you, Ellie. Relaxing. Great. Awesome. Peaceful. Good. And just the visual of the rushing water can also be really helpful. This is a visual that's available on YouTube. If you ever just want to play the rushing water sound, it's a nice kind of anchor when you're looking for just a moment of rest, right? To be able to relax and a moment of peace. And again, the rushing river meditation is a really great skill when you might be overthinking, any overthinkers in the room, or you might be really struggling with anxious thoughts. You might want to take a moment to do a deep breaths and to notice your thoughts as opposed to becoming your thoughts, right? Getting into that current of thought. Thank you all for your feedback. Good at slow things down, peaceful. Nice, awesome. Just a practice to add to your toolkit. We'll keep moving forward here. Thank you. All right. So this is another practice that I wanted to share out with you all. Some of you might be familiar with this very basic breathing awareness exercise called the belly breath. And the belly breath is going to be engaging the diaphragm, which was very similar to the part of our body that we used to do our first practice, which was the dynamic breathing practice. And so again, the diaphragm is that lovely space in between the belly button and right under our rib cage there at the bottom. And this space really acts in helping our breath be like a bellow, and it makes our breath full, right? And so if you feel safe to do so, again, I'm going to encourage those who might have closed your eyes last time to, again, close your eyes. Kind of cutting off that visual stimuli is really helpful to focus on the breath and making sure you're kind of taking those really full natural breaths. Or you can keep your eyes open and just kind of take a soft gaze past your nose in a room. And we're going to go ahead and get into a breathing posture, which will look like you're going to stand kind of tall or sit up tall. I like to say, imagine your vertebrae of your spine kind of stacking right on top of each other. And we're just going to take a couple normal breaths to ourselves. Just focusing on your inhale and exhale, breathing in through your nose. Taking some normal breaths, just very natural breaths, back out through your mouth. And when you feel ready, you're going to allow your, again, eyes to close, find a focused gaze in the room. And you're going to put one hand, doesn't matter which hand, just put one hand on your chest here. And you're going to put the other hand on your belly. Right? So finding that soft space that you feel comfortable, that feels safe and comfortable for you. You're going to rest your hands here for a moment, continuing to take some normal breaths, just noticing where your hand is making contact with your chest, and also where your hand is making contact with your belly here. And just pausing to notice your chest hand and how it's moving with your breath. You may notice as you inhale and fill your chest and lungs with air, you may notice your chest rise up. And as you begin to exhale, you may notice the hand that is on your belly expanding and deflating with every breath. And just do this a couple times, breathing into your belly. You'll notice that hand rise up, that belly expand. The chest rises up. And breathing back out through your mouth, your chest, hand, and your belly hand, coming back down to the neutral position. Do this again 2 more times to yourself. Just breathing normally. In through your nose. And again, back out through your mouth. One more time. Breathe into the belly, into the chest. And bringing your hand, your belly and your chest back down on your exhale. Now take both your hands if you can and put them on your belly. Put it right there in a fine restful position, whatever works for you. And we're going to work on breathing into our bellies just a little bit more. So as you breathe in, you're going to push your belly out as best you can so that your hands rise up. And let your hands sink back down as you breathe out. It may help to kind of imagine this balloon inside you kind of blowing up when you breathe into your belly, and then notice the balloon deflating as you breathe back out. And your hands are just kind of riding your breath up and down. And if you're not used to this breath, it can kind of feel like you're struggling at first, but it's really just a practice, just really focusing on taking, if it's better to just take a deeper breath into your chest as opposed to the normal breath, that's fine too. It may also help to kind of play with the breathing rhythm and kind of making your exhale longer than your inhale, and just kind of pausing and notice this breath here. As your hand rises, breathe in. As you breathe out, your hands will come back to a restful position. And do this one more time as we close out our deep belly breathing practice, breathing into our bellies, and back out through our mouth, relaxing this breath here. Great job. You can practice this as many times as you need to, and this is a really accessible breath. That's one of my favorites. It's just one of those breaths that kind of bring you back to the full awareness of your body and to your mind, and helps you to kind of notice what's happening for you. Just to check in, how was the belly breath for everyone? Did you notice anything in particular? Is this a breath that you've tried before in the past? How was that for you? All right. Well, if you have any specific questions about belly breathing or any thoughts that might have come up in the silence of just practicing that, feel free to go ahead and drop it in the Q&A, or even just drop it in the chat of just some things that you noticed while taking deep breaths. Last time I did this presentation, someone said, oh, I didn't notice, like, the more I did the deep belly breaths, the slower my breath was, and I didn't notice like how harbored and how like short my breathing really was that day until I did that practice. And sometimes kind of reconnecting to your breath is a great way to kind of notice how your breathing is, right? Maybe you're really stressed or overwhelmed on a day and you notice you're not really taking fuller breaths. So this practice helps you slow down and deepen your breath so that you can kind of move more in calm and ease and balance throughout your day. I'm gonna go to the chat. I liked it because it helped me stay focused. It's a very good focusing breath, a very good clearing breath, right? Just kind of slowing and deepening that breath is really helpful when you're kind of moving in high gear, high-paced environments. And sometimes when you're moving in that way, you're not breathing fully. And so that can bring on a shift in mood. So if you want to go ahead and balance that mood out for yourself, just taking some belly breaths can help do that. Just another tool for you. So let's talk about how you can continue to build your practice. You're all doing an amazing job sticking with me. Thank you all for just really practicing and being here and taking care of yourselves. So here are some resources that we have on campus that are also available to our alumni, students, faculty, and staff, current students. We have alumni that still tune into our Gamecocks Live Well Facebook page and follow our weekly meditations. They'll have most of our Facebook members actually on our mental health page, as well as our Gamecocks Live Well page, are actually alumni. So it's really great to see that alumni are still practicing with us. But here are some resources that we have on campus for students, right? You can join Healthy Campus Initiatives on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for 15 minutes of mindfulness. We meet on the second floor of the Center of Health and Wellbeing in room 215 on these days. And you can go on our website, which is on the bottom of that PowerPoint slide there, and you can find out when we are doing meditations and also when we're doing yoga. We do yoga in the Calm Oasis as well. Before I get to the yoga, I did want to mention that we live stream our meditation. So say you do want to engage in a meditation on Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday, but you can't really necessarily come to the building. We do live stream our meditations, and they're on the Gamecocks Live Well Facebook page. So also feel free to check those out. So we also have yoga with Claire, and that's in the Calm Oasis. She's going to be doing yoga tonight at 5:15. She's also going to be doing yoga Wednesdays at noon and Fridays at noon. Claire is also doing this really neat thing right now where Claire is pre-recording mini yoga practices. So they're like anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. And she is posting them on our Healthy Campus Initiatives YouTube. So again, another opportunity where you can engage in mindfulness, only if you have about 10 to 15 minutes and you don't have that long, but you still want to engage in a practice because you feel like you need it for the day. You can go on our Healthy Campus Initiatives YouTube and follow Claire's recorded practices. And again, we also have Intro to Mindfulness. So if you're like, oh, I think I could really use more mindfulness in my daily routine, but I need to know where to start. And I also want to know more about the benefits of mindfulness. You can come join us every Tuesday from 3 to 4 in the Calm Oasis. This is also live streamed as well. And I will show you the QR code, which will connect you to the link tree, which will then connect you to the Zoom to join us if you are interested in the Intro to Mindfulness workshop, but you'd rather do it on a Zoom platform as opposed to coming in. But again, you're more than welcome to join us in person every Tuesday from 3 to 4 in the Calm Oasis. Any questions on those things? Awesome. Another thing really quickly, I just wanted to go over general support. We do offer us wellness coaching. The TAO app is available for students, current students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The TAO app is really self-directed, self-paced mental health information. So if you're looking to find out more information, particularly on stress management or even nutrition or time management, better organization, just how to increase more movement into your day, or if you're struggling with something more specific, the TAO app has a multitude of mental health resources, and it's available on Apple, and Android users can download this app. We also have, again, CAPS, group counseling is available to students, current students, and we have the Gamecocks Live Well Facebook page that has different mindfulness resources and tools, specifically more guided meditations and yoga and breathing exercises for everyone who is a part of our community. And so sometimes it's just a nice kind of emotional rest space to come to when you need to just have a quick tool to get through your day, to get through your work day, to get through your school day, whatever you may need. We have it available here through the Gamecocks Live Well social media platform. And again, we also, more specifically around wellness coaching, if you are interested in requesting an appointment, I wanted to be able to share out the website where you can access that if you're looking to just take your wellness goals to the next level. Any specific questions on those things before we get to our last practice? You all have been amazing, very interactive. I really appreciate that. Any specific questions on our resources before we go to our last practice, which is our body scan? Okay. Well, don't hesitate. Use the Q&A if you need to. Still have a couple more moments with you. I do have something in the chat where the yoga class is for students or alums. Both. and they're in the Calm Oasis. Or live streamed. Okay. Any other questions? All right. So we have one more practice today that I wanted to introduce to you all. This practice is called the body scan, and this is another really great practice that you can try if you just want to get in touch with, just have a little bit more body awareness, to be more present with what's happening for you in the moment. If you're kind of making some harsh judgments about yourself or even what's happening around you, and you want to just get back kind of like this gentle attention to what's happening in your body and in your mind, the body scan is a really good practice to do just that. So feel free to get into a comfortable position again, and you can just go ahead. I'm going to guide you through it, so you don't necessarily have to show up in any way here, but just go ahead and relax, close your eyes, and get into a comfortable position and just listen to the sound of my voice. So this is our last practice of today, and this practice is called the body scan. And in this meditation, you will use the sensations in your body rather than breathe in your belly to anchor your awareness to your present moment experience. You will find that your mind might frequently wander away from your breath, and that's okay, but we're going to use our breath here as an anchor to bring us back. And see if you can just notice when your mind is wandering, and without making judgments about it, your ability to bring it back just by using your breath is going to be really helpful in this moment. So as you notice a breath, as you notice a thought, and if it becomes a thought that's kind of intrusive, what you can do is just put your hand on your belly and breathe back in through your nose and back out through your mouth. We are really going to anchor through our breath. And what this is just a really good training for our mind for focus, right? When we need to focus better, when we need to increase our learning capacity, we can go use the body scan using our breath to anchor us and to bring us back to the present moment. All these skills you can use at any time, and they'll be unique to you, so you don't have to do them in any particular way. And if you get significantly overwhelmed by it, just feel free to just kind of be here. You don't have to be here in any particular way. Just if you get overwhelmed by it, just take a break and come back in as you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our bell out to get us started. And just consider inviting an attitude of compassion for our last practice of the day. Begin to take slow, gentle breaths here. Getting into your meditation posture, feeling your feet resting on the floor, your hands resting on your lap, and your eyes closed if that feels good for you. Imagine your vertebrae of your spine stacking on top of each other, bringing your back into a tall, aligned position. And when you feel ready, take a deep breath. And bring your awareness to the bottom of your feet. Noticing the feeling of your feet resting here on the floor. You might get curious about the sensations of your feet by flexing them just a bit, flexing your toes, maybe pressing the bottoms of your feet against the floor, just noticing how maybe your shoes or your socks are touching your skin. Just noticing your feet here. Allowing your feet to just be like roots grounding you down here in this moment, allowing you to fully relax. As you continue to watch the sensations in your feet, allow yourself to become aware of your breath here, moving in and out of your body. See if you can imagine your breath moving in and out of the bottoms of your feet. With each in-breath, allow your awareness to sharpen. With each out-breath, allow tension and tightness to be released from your feet. Breathing in and focusing your attention. Breathing out and releasing stress or tension. Do this for the next couple moments. Tightening and releasing your feet. Syncing this with your breath. Now move your awareness, if you can, up to your lower legs. As you let your attention settle there, begin to imagine your breath just moving in and out through your calf muscles. Notice and noting carefully the sensations in the calves. You might notice just tightness or tingling or the feeling of air, your clothes against your skin, or perhaps you feel nothing at all. Just see if you can become aware of whatever is there. And with each in-breath, sharpen your focus on the sensations, and with each out-breath, release tension and tightness. If your mind wanders, see if you can just notice that with an attitude of kindness, patience. Bring your attention back to the sensations in your lower legs. I'll give you a moment to practice that now. Now move your attention when you're ready to your upper legs, bringing awareness to this area of your body. Breathing in, sharpening your focus to the sensations in your upper legs. And on your out breath, releasing any tension or tightness. Giving yourself a little bit of compassion in this moment. Continuing and noticing deep, deep breaths. We move now into our hips and our pelvic muscles. Noticing where our sits muscles here are sitting in our chair. We begin to take some deep breaths here, sharpening our focus on our hips and our pelvis. Breathing into that space, and again, allowing each out breath to release any tightness or tension you might be holding there. Give you a couple moments to do that now. And shift your attention here to your torso, your belly button, and your collarbones. This whole upper part of our bodies here. Just notice any sensations you might be holding here in your torso, your belly button, or your collarbones in your chest. Allowing your in-breath to fill your chest cavity with air, giving a good stretch here when you can. Expanding this breath. And again, exhale, relieving yourself of any stress or tension you might be holding in your torso or your upper body. Checking in here with your neck and your shoulders. Maybe you lean your head from one side to the other, or give yourself a full 360, going around for a full circle, bringing it back down to a neutral position, giving yourself a quick stretch there. Sometimes we carry tension in our neck and our shoulders. Taking a few minutes or a few moments to check in with your neck and your shoulders. And take a moment here to check in with your head and your face. Again, keeping this breathing posture. We breathe in and we breathe back out. Checking in with our head and our face, noticing if there's any tightness or tension in our face. Sometimes we carry that tightness here in that middle space between our eyebrows or even our forehead or our jawline. So being able to breathe in and breathe out, releasing that tension there in your face and head. If you're noticing any thoughts, any criticism or judgment, just allow yourself to notice those thoughts, but also release them. In our final moments of this practice, you will now just take a few minutes to slowly scan your awareness through your body from head to toe. If you notice any areas of tightness or tension, let your awareness settle there for a few moments. Breathe in and out through that tight space. Observing the sensations there. And again, if you notice your mind has wandered, just gently bring it back. And at the sound of my bell, we will slowly bring our awareness back to the room. So that was our last practice of the day. Just wondering, what did you all notice while doing the body scan? If anybody wants to share, you can. Ellie said, I felt very at peace. Very good. Areas where I was really tight and then relaxing them. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, just kind of bringing that awareness to our bodies made us maybe notice where we were carrying tightness. Being able to have the opportunity to relax that is really helpful. Madison shared, I was able to develop control over my thoughts. I like that. Just that small noticing. What a great noticing that you were able to see there. Just taking a few moments to slow down. You were able to scan your thoughts more intentionally. Natalie Hunt shared awareness in places I overlook. Very good. That's really the aim of this practice. So if you're carrying any tension or tightness, or even any labeling any thoughts or feelings that might be bringing you discomfort, the body scan is very intentional with that, being able to slow you down, to bring your breath, to help awaken that breath and to bring you into closer awareness to what may be happening internally. So thank you all for your feedback on that. And that is our final practice of the day. I just wanted to be able to remind you all to stay well, reduce your stress, to boost. Reducing your stress can help boost the immune system. So whatever practices you have, whether it be exercise or practicing mindfulness or listening to uplifting music, it's starting to be nice outside. So maybe getting out and doing some gardening, painting, doodling is great for kind of giving your brain some of that relaxation and ease, reading for leisure, eating healthy meals. limiting or just harm reduction when you can when it comes to alcohol. And just the immune system, interrupting those sleep cycles can be really hard when you don't get enough sleep. So being able to be more intentional about getting those 7 to 8 hours of sleep when you can, using this time for spring to get organized, using that energy and that momentum can help alleviate a lot of the stress. And just 15 minutes before you go to bed, if you can, limit your bright lights, turn your phone down, and allow yourself to kind of ease into sleep. Getting enough sleep is really vital to minimizing stress and optimizing your wellness. So I will just go ahead and share my contact information. I want to be conscious and respectful of your time. I know I said I would be here till 2. So if you have any other specific questions around mindfulness that maybe I didn't get covered here, or that you were really curious about resources that you may be able to connect with, feel free to email me or call me there. This is my phone number here at the school and my email here at the school. And any questions, any final thoughts, feedback, concerns, questions, I'm happy to take some time to do just that. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Haven. Catherine, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for allowing me to come here and share a little bit about mindfulness. Please don't hesitate to reach out whenever you need additional resources. You've all been an amazing group. Much, much gratitude for your time and energy today. And I'm wishing you all well for the remainder of your semester. Be well.